This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, perfect. So guys, yesterday we have seen dynamic arrays, as well as we have seen the basic concept of class and object and data members, and how to create the object and how to call the different data members like variables and methods, right? Today, I'm going to give you the complete overview that how to create a function, what are different types of function, how to call them, what is a static function, what is non-static function, how exactly it is static and non-static related to memory allocation, and where exactly static will be stored inside the memory, where exactly normal variables will be stored inside the memory, inside the object, like that. Okay, it's very important session, and lot of interviews, questions will be there on this topic. So please note down your interview questions, your notes and everything. Let me know if you have any issues. Okay, so let's start that. Let me create a class, and my class name is functions in Java. Okay, select the main method and click on finish. So method and function both are same thing. In some programming language we say method and function, both are same thing. It's like the different name of the same concept. Okay, so main method is a method and main is also a function also. So what do you mean by a function? Function means that a piece of code which will do some, which is having some business logic, and we will call that particular function again and again to get some certain output, right? So a function will give you some return. A function may not give you some return. Return means there is a special keyword is there in Java. So a function may or may not return a value, but a function will do something. What is something? That logic, right? So there are different types of function. So functions are just like a, always remember as a layman term that functions are like a factory, right? A normal factory is there, and you just pass the material, and that factory will give you some product, right? So let's see, there is a Nike factory is there. You pass some material, some raw material. A Nike factory will give you a good Nike cap, a good Nike T-shirt, or Nike shoes. Same thing in Java also. Functions are like a factory. You pass something and you will get something, right? So what we have to do that we have to create different type of functions. Now there are three types of functions. First is, okay, the first type of function is that no input and no output, that you are not passing anything and you are not getting any return from this particular function. So always remember guys one thing, that I cannot create a function inside a function. So functions are independent. So there is a main function, right? This is a main function. So I cannot create a function inside a function. Always remember that I cannot create a Reebok factory or Adidas factory inside a Nike factory, right? That doesn't make sense. Same thing over here as well, that functions, I cannot create a function inside another function. So in this particular class, let's see, I have this main function. In this particular main function, I cannot create another function. So what I have to do, I have to go out of the main method, and then I have to create a new function. So how to create a new function? So let's say I'm first writing public, right? Void. So this is a first type of function I'm creating, that no input and no return. This function is a very simple basic function that I'm not passing any input. Now what do you mean by input? What do you mean by return? We will talk about it. So I'm giving some function, let's see, just as of now, public void, okay, a function name. A function name, it can be anything. So there are two types of function guys. One is default function, that is system defined function. Like main method is coming from system, coming from Java. So that is called system defined function. Now you can create your own custom functions also, that is called user defined function, that user is creating, actually programmer is creating that particular function. So we have, let's see, public void, my function name is test function. You can give any function, ABC, Naveen, whatever the function you want to give. You want to give any name. So I'm writing public void test, starting body and ending body like this. So public void test I have written like this, and then in this particular function, let's see, I'm writing simple system dot, I'm just printing system dot out dot println the function name. Let's see, test method I'm printing. That's it. So the here concept here is, guys, that this is a very basic function, that public void test. Now in this particular function, if you see in this bracket, I'm not passing anything, right? So this is called no input. There is no input to this particular function. But if you see the main method, I'm passing this string args, one string array variable. So this square bracket you can write after that also, both are ultimately same thing. So I'm passing one array string variable in this particular bracket. So we will talk about it later, right? What is a string args? But as of now, you remember that in this particular test function, I'm not passing anything. It means this is no input function. I'm not passing anything. And no return means I'm not writing any return keyword, right? Why? Because this is no return function. This is a void function. So always remember, what do you mean by void? Void is no return. It means cannot return any value. So if a particular function is declared with void, that function cannot return any value. Okay, just remember one thing, that a function cannot return any value if it is declared with void, right? Now let's talk about second type of function. So again, this is the first function body. I cannot create a function inside a function, so I have to create another function. So my second type of function is, let's see, still I'm passing no input but some return. Okay, so this is the second type of function, is that I'm writing public, let's see, void, and my function name is, let's see, uh, get name function. So you can give any name, get name, let's see, I have given, right? And I'm printing system.out.println, the function name is get name, and I'm simple writing one string s is equal to, let's see, selenium. Okay, string s equal to selenium, and I'm writing one keyword, guys. Now see, return s. Okay, return s. So this get name function, I have written this get name function. So the terminology, the naming convention generally we follow for functions in Java, that it should start with a small letter. If any new word is there, then the second word and the first character of the second word will start with capital letter. So G small and capital like this. If we have only one word, then it should start with a small letter like this. Okay. Now get name function is there. It does not return any value according to void, because void means no return, but you have return statement over here. So return is a keyword, r small. Return says that, okay, this function is returning s like this, but void definition in Java is that no return. So both are contradictory, right? So what we have to do, we have to remove this particular void from here, and what I have to write, I have to write what exactly this function is returning. This function is returning s, and what is a type of s? S is a string type, so we have to write string over here. Okay, so public string get name is there. Now the error is gone. So always remember, if you write void in front of any function, before any function, right, this function cannot return anything. So that's why main method will never return any value. So inside the main method, we never write return statement, because main method is by default void, right? So always remember this thing, that void and return cannot be together, right? So what I have to do, I have to remove void before the function name. So this is called a string right now. This function is returning s is a string, so I have to write a string over here. So if I ask you what is the return type of get name, what is the return type of get name function, so you will have to say string. So immediately you will check what exactly before function we have written. Before the function name we have written a string. It means this function is returning a string, right? Now let's see one more example of the second type that no inputs are returned. Let's see public void. So start with void and later on we will decide on the basis of return. Then we will delete void and then we will replace with replace void with some different value. So public void. Let's see, my function name is sum function. Inside the sum function, let's see, I'm writing something that first I'm printing system.out.println some method, and I'm writing, let's see, int a. I'm doing some mathematics over here. Int b is equal to 20 and int c is equal to a plus b. Okay, right? So what is the value of c? C will be 30. So now I return c from here. I like return c. Okay, return c I have written. So instead of void, what should I write? Now I'll check, it is returning c, and c is what? Integer. So I have to write int over here. Okay, I have to write int over here. So always remember, the return type will be decided on the basis of what exactly that function is returning. So this function is returning c is integer, so I have to write int over here. Okay, now let's see one more example. Public void. Let's see, my function name is get student names. Okay, get student names. Fine. So I'll system.out.println simple get student names. I'll print. It's up to you. I'm just printing for my reference that whenever you go to inside this function, first it should print the method name, and then what I'm doing now, see, I'm creating one array list of string type. Okay, array list of string type ar is equal to new array list, because the student name I want to return all the student names all together, and this array list we have to import. So this is a string type. Why? Because student names will be in a string always. Now what I'll do, simple, I'll write ar.add. The student name is, let's see, Nitin. ar.add the student name, let's see, Amit. I'll add one more student, ar.add, let's see, student name is Divya. Or let's see, one more student, ar.add, student name is Elvira. Okay, 4 students I have stored, and then what I want to return ar, right? I want to return ar. So instead of this void, what should I write? Now you guys tell me, what should I write instead of void? Because I have to remove void now. Come on, guys. No, why? Why string? This function is returning AR. AR is what? AR is array list of a string, not a string. I'm not returning a string. I'm returning array list. Right? So what I have to do, I have to write like this. Instead of void, I have to write this. Don't write a string. A string means only string value you are returning. Here I'm returning AR. AR is what? AR is a complete array list I'm passing. Okay? And not just AR. AR is the variable name. Right, so here you are not writing C. C, you are checking what is the type of C. The type of C is integer, so we have to write int over here. The type of S is a string. So I'm not writing S over here. I'm writing a string. The type of that particular variable. I'm checking what is the type of this AR. The type of AR is this. So I have to write array of a string over here. Okay. So get student names. What is return type? An array list, which is a string type. Okay. Okay. Now one more example. Now this time I'm expecting the right answer. Public void get marks. Let's see. This is another function. Public void get marks. These are the student marks. Let's see. And simple. Okay. Now I'll do one thing. I'll declare one integer array because marks will be an integer. So integer array. Let's see. Integer marks square bracket static array I'm creating now. Okay. Instead of array list. New. Let's see, for 4 students, or let's see, for only for 3 students, I want to create some marks. So I'm writing like this: marks 0 is equal to 10, marks 1 is equal to, let's see, 7, 0, 1, 2, 3 values, right, is equal to, let's see, 9. So 3 marks, integer marks I have declared, and then I'm writing return what? Return marks. Now instead of void, what should I write? What should I write? Okay, now see, instead of this, if you mouse over, it will give you one suggestion that integer with square bracket we have to write like this. Okay, an integer which is the return type of okay, it is integer array. So integer square bracket we have to write like this. So don't write the variable name. Marks is a variable name, so don't write variable name. Right? So someone is asking that you can use object array. Why are you using only array list? It's up to you. With object array, the problem is that again the size problem, right? You have to give the size, and you never know that today I have 4 students or 5 students. So it's up to you. This is just an example, guys. So don't go with why I'm not using object array. You can use object array also. That's why I given you the example of one integer array. So you can use object array. So, but what is the purpose of using object array? I don't see any purpose because I want to store only an array list which is a string type. So I'll create one array list of a string type. I'm not just bothered about the string names, right? And then n number of students it can be. So that's why I'm creating one array list. Just this is just for example point of view. Okay. Now, so always remember that get marks is returning what? Integer array. So it depends what exactly you are returning, right? So if return is there, and always remember guys, return should be the last statement. Once everything is done, your logic, your algorithm, okay, everything is done inside the method body, then you decide what exactly I want to return from this method. So return should be the last statement in your function, right? So like this I have written. Now this is the second type of factory, second type of function, that no input but some return. But the thing is, if you notice, I'm not giving any input. Everything is blank over here, right? Inside the function name, I'm not giving anything. Now let's create third type of factory, third type of function, that is called some input and some return. Okay, now let's create public void some input and some return. So let's say I'm giving some method name, let's say division. Okay, let's divide two numbers. So which number we will pass? Those numbers actually. So we will pass, let's say, integer x comma integer y. So you can pass like this: integer x comma integer y, like this you can pass, right? So some input and some return. So let's see, some input we are passing two input variables, integer x comma separated integer y. You can pass anything. You can pass a string, you can pass two strings, you can pass one string, one integer. It's up to you. And then I'm printing system.out.println, let's see, division method, and then I'm creating one variable int, let's see, div is equal to x divided by y. Okay, or let's see, y divided by x. Right, whatever the value you are passing, just divide by x, y divided by x, and then return. So I'm writing return div. So instead of void, what should I write? Div is what? Div is integer, so I have to write int over here. Right, simple. Okay, so it depends what exactly you are returning. So let's see, I'm returning like this. Similarly, let's see what I'm doing now. See, you can return anything. Okay, public void, let's see, get. Now see the logic very carefully. Get country name. So what my requirement is that this is again some input I'll pass. What input? Let's see, I'm passing the city name, and on the basis of city name you have to return a country, right, where exactly the city is available. This is the logic you have to write. Let's see, this is your coding assignment. How will you do that? Simple, system.out.println, and first I'll print get country name method. Okay, now see, I'm writing one if condition. If city name dot equals, one method is there, city name is equal to what? If city name is equal to, let's see, Bangalore, then return what? Return India. Okay, you can write like this, return India. Okay, in double quotes you can write like this. Then I'm writing else if city name dot equals London, then return what? Return UK. Okay, fine. Let's see one more condition I'm writing, else if city name dot equals, let's see, my city name is New York, then return what? Return USA. Okay, like this. Fine. And then I'll put one condition, else, let's see, sometime if I'm not passing anything and there is a wrong city name I'm passing, then if nothing is found, let's say I'm not passing any Bangalore, London, or New York, then system.out.println, I'm writing one else condition that city is not found. Okay, like this. Now, instead of void, what should I write?
Naveen, you have to write a string there.
Wait. You can write it over there, guys. Just be on mute. Okay. So instead of void, what should I write? String, because for every time I'm returning, for every condition I'm returning a string. So I have to write string over here. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me why still it's giving error? Okay. Now see, if you mouse over, it will give you one suggestion that add return statement. So this return statement we have written inside the if condition. If, else if, and then else. But where is your method return statement? There is no method return, right? So what I'll do, mouse over and then simple write add return statement like this over here, right? And what exactly you want to return? Whatever you want to return. Let's say I want to return none. In that case, I'll explain you, don't worry about it. Now see, this is a method I have written. I'll call this method, I'll pass some value. Let's say I'm passing Bangalore, right? I'm passing Bangalore. it will come over here. City name Bangalore dot equals Bangalore. Condition is satisfied. Condition is true. Immediately it will return what? It will return India. Right? The program is over. It will not check other things because the moment we return at line number 64, immediately it will come out of the method because the return is done. Right? Because the condition is satisfied and the return is done. Now let's say I'm passing London. So it will check London dot equals Bangalore. No, condition is not satisfied. It will come inside the else if part. London dot equals London. Yes, condition is satisfied. It will return UK and done. Same thing for New York. It will check it is not equal to Bangalore, not equal to London. It is equal to New York. It will check return USA. It will be returned. Right? Now, if you are passing some different name, let's say you are passing Pune. Pune is not available. We haven't written the condition for Pune, right? So although there are so many cities in the world, I cannot write every city over here. So just for example, so for city, I'm writing Pune. Pune is not found. So simple, I'll write city is not found. I'll print a message, right? It's my responsibility to give a proper passage to the user who is calling my method that the city is not found, right? Like this. So that's why, guys, for every if condition, I have written one return statement because every if condition is independent. If this condition is satisfied, immediately return. So this is a different type of return. I'm explaining you that inside a function, we have multiple return, but on the basis of condition. Now let's talk about this last return. This last return does not have any significance. This is just to complete the syntax. This is just to complete the logic that if you don't write it, immediately it will give you that where is your method return, right? It will ask you, please add return statement. The method must return a result of type string, something it should return. So what exactly? I'll add return statement. So now it's up to you. Whatever that you want to just checking, right? City name. So you can write city name. You can return the same city name, or you can write null also. You can pass anything. It's up to you. But anything means any string you can pass. So I can write some, let's see, return city name plus I'll concatenate that the city name, let's say I'm passing Pune, will be added later. Currently data is not available. I can pass a message like this also, right? Okay, so like this also. In that case, let me remove this else part. Now this is more appropriate. So if Pune I'm passing, it will not fulfill this condition. It will come over here. It will be added later. Currently data is not available. Something like this, right? So in some website also, in site also, so whenever you call some function or you click on a button or something, you see some data, right? Data is not available. Please try again later, or it will be added later. Something like that. It means data is not available. So they have created one API or some method over there. So this is just like an API. We have created one generic method that you just pass the city name, we will give you the country name of that particular city. So this is a kind of basic utility you have created, right? Okay, so this is some input we are passing, and then internally we are doing some logic, and then we are returning something, right? So guys, this is kind of method creation you have to learn, because in Selenium, in framework designing, this is kind of work we have to do actually. Right now it's up to you. You want to provide some switch case or if else conditions, whatever logic you want to write, it depends on your programming language, that what exactly you are writing over here. Okay, so this is just for example point of view. We can write n number of functions, hundreds of functions we can write, hundred of variables we can define, hundred of variables we can pass. It's up to you. It depends on your requirement, what exactly kind of requirement we have. Okay, now we have created so many functions in this particular class. But if you see one thing, that all the functions I have created without static. Okay, we will talk about static later, but as of now, this is the first type of function that this is void. Only one void we have created. It means it does not return any value, right? Sometimes we feel that, okay, no, this function should not return any value. This function should do something, but it should not return any value, right? So just do something and then don't return anything. So maybe sometimes we have to create void type of functions also. It is doing something, but it doesn't matter that it should return something. We don't want to take anything from that, okay, that function, right? But some functions are there that we call that function, and we are expecting some values from that particular function. Okay, now these are the functions we have created. So how many functions we have in this class, including main method? 1, 2, 3, 4, like this we have to calculate. So you can calculate, one shortcut is there, just press Command O or Control O. If you're using Windows machine, just press Control O. For Mac machine, use Command O. So if you see, this is my class, functions in Java. One main method is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 functions are there, including main method. So main method is the default function, and all these are custom defined, user defined function that I have created actually, right? Now how will you, okay, now you guys tell me, if I run this program, what will happen? What should be the output? If you run this program, what should be the output? Okay, now see, because if you run this program, you have created so many functions, but first it will check, boss, where is the main method? Fine, this is the main method, it will come inside the main method, and we have not written anything over here, right? It will just a blank main method, it will come out of the main method and program is over. It will never jump to test method or get name or some other functions, no, right? Now how to call these functions? We have to call these functions, we have to go to the, okay, go to the specific function, we have to go inside the method body and then use the logic. But how? What we have to do that, okay, what we have to do, we have to call these functions. Okay, we have to call these functions, right? So how to call these functions? We need a special entity who can call these functions. So we need to create an object over here. Okay, so only object can create, only object can call these functions. Fine. So how to create the object? So yesterday I have already told you that how to create the object with the help of new keyword. So we have to create the object of this particular class. So this is the class name, right? I'm giving some object name is equal to obj is equal to new class name, like this. Okay. So what is obj here? Obj, guys, remember, obj is the name of the object, not the object. If I ask you what is obj, some people say that this is object. No, obj is not the object. Obj is just the object reference name. So just note it down. At a time of interview, people will ask you, okay, what is obj? Don't say this is object. Obj is the name of the object. So when what is object here? This right hand side line is called object. This is called object. Okay, new class name will be called an, okay, object, and obj is the name of the object. Now the moment you write this line, what will happen inside the memory? I explained yesterday also. Just a minute. Yeah, now see it very carefully. So this is the huge Java memory. Okay, this Java memory, inside this, the moment I write this line, right, one object will be created over here. Got it? Object will be created over here. Inside this object, two things will be stored. One is class variables. So as of now, we don't have any class variables, right? There are no class variables. So no class variables. And all the class methods. How many methods we have? Test method, get name method, sum method. All these methods that we have written except main method. will be stored in this particular object, right? So we have 7 methods. Method number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 methods will be stored inside this. Stored means 7 photocopies will be given to this particular object, right? So it means it's a newborn, just like a newborn baby, right? Let's say it's a human class, and human is having a newborn baby having different features, right? So all the human features we have to give to that human baby also, right? Same thing, it's an object, a newborn object. So all the features of this particular class we have to give. So Java will give all the features of this particular class, give to this. But main is static in nature. So always remember, object cannot hold any static. Okay, that we will talk about later. So just remember that main method will not be given to this guy. A newborn object will not be holding any main method, because main is static in nature. But all the non-static stuff, including class variables. So as of now, we don't have any class variables. Fine, but we have so many non-static methods. All the methods, all the features will be given to this particular object. And what is object name? Object name is obj. So object name is representing this particular, right? So name of the object is Mr. Obj, and Obj will call all these functions. So how to call? Obj will call like this: obj dot this test method, obj dot get name method, obj dot division method, obj dot sum method, blah blah blah. Okay, get country name and all these methods, right? So let's do it. So let me erase this drawing. Now see how to call. Simple, write obj. The moment you write dot, you will see all the methods, all the options are available that you have created. My first method is test method. So obj dot test, like this you have to call. So obj dot test. So the moment you call this test function, it will jump over here, right? It will jump over here. It will come inside the method. It will print only test method. Method is over. It will come over here. Program is over. So if you run this program, only test method will be called. So if you run it, see, only test method is getting called, right? Now let's call the second function. Second function is get name. So how will I call? Obj dot get name function. Now obj dot get name function will be called. So it will call get name. It will print what? Okay, it will return string s equal to selenium, right? And return s. So s will be returned. Okay, s will be returned back. So now how to return? So right now we are returning s. S is what? Selenium. So this s will be returned back to get name. Okay, this s will be given back to this obj dot get name. So what is the value of obj dot get name? Selenium. And then I can store like this over here. String, let's see, s1 is equal to this. Okay, again I'll repeat. Obj dot get name. Obj dot get name. I'm calling this function. It will print this string s equal to selenium, and then return s. So this s will be return to whom? Return. Then we have return keyword, but return to whom? So right, so return to whom means a person who is calling this function. So this s will be given back to obj dot get name, right? Return back to this particular person that, okay, if you are calling this get name function, now take selenium from me. So selenium will be given to this, and this guy will give this selenium to s1. So what is the value of s1 now? S1 is selenium. So if you print S1 over here, right, S1 is selenium is getting printed. Okay. Now Neelu is asking that, Naveen, can't we just call simply test in main function? That's why I told you, right? No, we cannot, because test function is the object property, right? Now it's part of the object. So we have to call by object only. I told you yesterday, right? For all the non-static methods, we cannot call them directly. We have to create the object, then only we can call. Okay, if you are calling like this. Okay, now okay, now the third method is sum method. Now we will call sum method. So how to call sum method? Simple obj dot sum. So it will jump to sum method, and then it will print sum method a10 b20 c equal to, what is the value of c? C will be 30, and return c. C means 30. 30 will be given back to obj.sum. So what is the value of obj.sum? So the value of obj.sum will be in 30. So I can store like this. Let's see, int c1 is equal to obj.sum, and the c1 will become 30 now. And then I'll simple write system.out.println c1. Sorry guys, c1 will be printed. So what is the value of c1? C1 is 30. So 30 will be printed. Fine. Okay. Now let's see some more functions. Now next function is get student names. So how will you call get student names? Obj dot get student names I'm calling. Okay, so get student names is a function. So I'll just simple call this function get student names, and it will jump over here. It will print get student names method. It will create an array list, and then inside this array list I'm adding three things: Nathan, Amit, Divya, and Elvira, and I'm returning AR. Right? So this AR is what? This AR is an array list. So array list will be given back. It will be returned back. Okay, to obj.getStudent names. So if you mouse over on get name, see it's showing array list of string. So can I store like this? Array list of a string. Let's see, AR1 is equal to this. Like that also I can write. Right? So obj.getStudent names I'm calling. Get student names function is doing something over here. It's creating an array list and adding the values, and then returning AR. Right? So returning AR means this obj.get student names holding an array list, and I'm passing this array list to a new array list over here like this. Right? So if you system.out.println, so what is the value of AR1? So if you directly print AR1, you can print like this, or you can write a for loop also to print all the values. So if you run it, so AR1 is printing like this: Nathan, Amit, Divya, Elvira. Right? Like that also. So it's up to you. You want to store in some variable like obj.sum in some variable c1. This is a good practice. Store in some variable and then print it. Or you can print this obj.sum directly also. It's up to you. Right? Now, this is the get student names function. Now let's call another function that is called get marks. So we will call this get marks function. So how to call? Just a minute. First guys, see the concept, then we will solve your queries. So don't write your queries as of now, otherwise you will be losing the focus on this. Okay, so please see the concept. It's very simple, and then we will one by one we will solve your problems. Okay, so get marks, obj.get marks I'll call. So it will go to, so how to go to a specific function? So simple, press control and mouse over and click. So get marks will be displayed over here, and then it will come over here, get marks function. It will do this. It will create one integer array, and okay, 1079012, and then it will return marks. So what I'll do that I'll store inside an integer array. So I can write like this. Let's see, integer marks is equal to this. Right? So one integer array will be given to this guy, and the entire array will be given to this marks. And then I'm printing system.out.println, and I'm writing a for loop, simple for loop, int I equal to 0 and I less than what? marks dot length, and then I plus plus. I'm just going to iterate this particular array. Remember array concept. So this marks is having all the marks. I'm just simple writing I equal to 0 up to the length of this particular marks and I plus plus, and then system.out.println what is the array name, marks, and then pass I. Right, so I equal to 0, and then it will iterate 0 1 2, and then we are already writing like this. 10 7 9 will be printed, these marks will be printed, okay, like this, and marks will be returned back. So this marks is a complete integer array will be given to this obj.getMarks, then complete integer object, okay, marks will be given to this marks array, right? And then we are using the for loop to print all the values of marks, right? So if you run it, so let's see all the values get marks method 10 7 9, I'm getting all the marks. Okay, so this is also done. Now last method is get country name. Okay, so that's okay. One more method before that, we have division methods. Now this is the third type of function, that division method we have to call. So how will you call division method? Obj dot division, and we have to pass two values. Let's say I'm passing 10 comma 30, right? So obj dot division means 10 comma 30, so it will go to division method. 10 will be given to x, it's 1-to-1 mapping, and 30 will be given to y, right? And then div equal to y divided by x, it means 30 divided by 10. So what is the value of div? What is the value of div? 30 divided by 10, 3, and then return 3. So return 3 means an integer will be returned back to obj dot division. So what is the value of obj dot division? 3. Can I store somewhere like this? Int d is equal to this. So what is the value of d? What will be the value of d? The value of d will be 3. So right, so now the thing is, I've created a generic method. I'll pass two values, it will give you the division, right? See, I'm getting 3. So you can call this function n number of times. Let's say I want to call with different values, right? 10 comma 40, and I'm expecting 4, and this is d1. So you can write system.out.println d1. So d1 will be 4 now. So you can see I have created only one logic, one division logic, divide by, okay, one number is getting divided by another number, and I'm getting the respective output, right? So that's why function will reduce your code. You don't need to write the code again and again, that okay, first I'm writing 30 divided by 10, then 40 divided by 10 in a separate code. No, we just create a function and call that function with the appropriate input, and that function will return the appropriate output, right? So this is also I have done. Now the last function is what? Get country name, which is expecting one city name. So I'll call this country name. Let's call it, how to call obj dot get country name, and I'll pass city. Let's see, I'm passing city is Bangalore. What will happen? It will go to get country name. Bangalore is a city. Bangalore, okay, it will check, okay, it will print this get country name method, one string, and then Bangalore is equal to Bangalore, condition is satisfied, it will return India, right? It will return India like this. So let's see. So if I'm calling get country name with Bangalore, and then I'm storing in some like this, country is equal to, right? And then I'm printing in the next line system.out.println country. So if I'm passing Bangalore, I should get India. Okay, so let's run it and let's see. See, I'm passing Bangalore, India. Right, so you can modify this method more appropriately if you want to display something. Let's see, if city name is equal to Bangalore, Then what I want that return, let's modify this particular string in a more appropriate way so that user can understand properly. That I'll write like this, that country name is India for what? For city space plus city name, right? So what exactly it will return now? See, country name is India for city Bangalore, right? Like this. So let's write for other guys also is UK. So whatever the city that you are passing, and for USA also. Now if I'm passing Bangalore, what exactly it will return? It will append. Remember string concatenation, second day we covered country name is India for city, whatever the city you are passing. I'm passing first time Bangalore, so it will return country name is India for city Bangalore. If I'm passing London, country name is UK for city London. So let's run it and let's see, check it once again. So we are passing this Bangalore, right? And let's see, it is printing country name is India for city Bangalore. Okay, now let's pass London. Let's see, for London it is showing country name is UK for city London. And let's pass New York, and then country name is USA for city New York. And now let's pass some other country, Pune. If I'm writing Pune, it's saying Pune will be added later. If you see the console output, currently data is not available. Okay, so you can see that the output is Pune, so we should give a space over here. So let's see, one space like this. Okay, now if you run it again, it's saying Pune will be added later, currently data is not available. Okay, so for three cities I have added the data. This is just for like example point of view, right? I cannot add, there are thousands of cities in the world, I cannot add. So this is a logic I have written for this. So get country name, you just pass the country name and then return the respective value according to that particular city name. I have just written the logic like this, right? So always remember guys that if you are creating functions, functions are always independent to each other. Okay, so if you write some notes over here, so let me write some notes for you guys, that functions are parallel to each other. Parallel to each other means independent. I cannot create a function inside a function. Cannot create a function inside a function. Okay, and duplicate functions are not allowed. Okay, duplicate functions are not allowed. It means I cannot create two duplicate functions. Let's see, what do you mean by duplicate functions? Public void test, I'm writing 2 times. No, duplicate functions are not allowed, right? In city, Nike factory is already there in Bangalore, then why are you creating unnecessary another factory, right? Duplicate functions are not allowed. But if you remove this duplicacy from here, you can pass one variable. Let's say I'm passing one int a. Now this is not the case of duplicate. Now this is not duplicate. Okay, I'm coming on the point. Very important concept I'm going to tell you, that this test function, 0 parameter, 1 parameter. Now if you try to create one more duplicate of second function like this, now this is a case of duplicate once again. What I'll do, I'll write int a comma int b. Okay, so you can differentiate with parameters. So this is 0 parameter, this is 1 parameter, now this is 2 parameters. So now again this is not duplicate. Now if you write like this also, string B. This is also allowed. You can say that, Naveen, two parameter, no, but two different parameters. So this is also not duplicate, right? So we have test, 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 test. We have four functions having the same method name, test, test, test. And this is what? This is your zero parameter. This is your one parameter. This is two parameters. And this is also two parameters, but different parameters. So this concept is called what? Can anyone tell me? What is this concept? Method overloading, right? So public void test, zero parameter. Public void test, one parameter. Public void test, two parameters. Public void test, two different parameters. So in a particular class, I repeat, in a particular class, we have different functions, different methods having the same method name, test, 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 but different parameters, right? Different parameter means different number of parameters and different types of parameters. This concept is called method overloading, and this method is called overloaded method. Okay, so I'll write for you guys, what do you mean by method overloading? This is a very famous interview question, and I hope now you are getting it. What is method overloading? Means within a class, you have to explain like this. Within a class, we have different functions or methods having the same name but different parameters. Okay, different parameter means different number of parameters. 1 minute. Different number of parameters and type of parameters is called method overloading. Okay, same method with different signature. No, signature will remain same, guys. Public void void void, like this. Okay, now got it? Method overloading. People will ask you what is method overloading. Now you can give the answer, right? Okay, now any questions? People were asking some questions on. Tarak is asking if we again need to store any return value in the main method. Why we are using the return? We can directly mention in the actual method and we call, yeah, you can do that. This is just for your understanding point of view that you can directly call this obj.get the student names. You can directly call this obj.sum. But the good practice is that it's up to you. I'm calling this function, I'm returning something and giving this value to C1. And let's see, with C1 I want to do some calculation. With C1 I want to add one more value, something like this, plus 100, right? So it looks more appropriate like this, that I'm getting some output from this function, and on top of this output I'm adding 100 also. Like this also you can do that. So that's why generally we use like this. Otherwise you can call this obj.sum directly. Okay. Now someone is saying, Divya is saying obj.sum we are calling. Okay, fine. We are calling obj.sum and it's returning C. So it's returning C. It's fine. But now it's up to you where exactly you want to store. Now I want to store in C1. So this is the value of C will be given. It's not like C will be returned. It's like value of the C will be returned. The value of the C is 30. So 30 will be given. So what is the value of this? 30. 30 will be given back to C1. So it's up to you what is the variable name you want to use. That doesn't matter.
So we
Okay.
can use C also, right?
You see also. Fine.
Okay.
It's up to you. Right? You can use C also and then just write C plus 100 or C. Right? You can use like this. Now you don't say that, okay, now this is a duplicate. No, because the scope of this C, the scope of this C is a local variable. It's only applicable in this particular function. So you can use this C here as well. So it's up to you. Let's say I want to take only some variable total, and then I'll write total when we get sum means total, and then add some GST also, some tax also, some service charge also. Let's say some restaurant billing counter is there. So what is the sum of the your bill, and then add some tax also, right? Some 5% tax or whatever. So I can write like this, right? So let's say 5 rupee tip. So total plus 5. Like this also you can use. Okay, like this. So guys, this is like a huge topic, functions in Java, how exactly functions are, we have to create, and there are so many functions, different types of functions we have created today, and then how to call them, what is object, how exactly object will hold, and now you can create n number of objects, obj1, obj2, obj3. So if you create n number of objects, now what will happen inside the memory? Number of objects you can create. Let's say I've created 4 objects. 4 newborn babies are there inside the memory, right? And how many functions we have? Okay, except main function, we have 7, right? For every time we have 7 properties are there, right? So seven properties will be given to these guys, every function, every object, and having a different name. Let's say this is O1, this is object number 2, and having a different name, object number 3, object number 4. You can give any name. You can give ABCD, Naveen, whatever the name you want to give. You can give any object name, right? I'm talking about this particular object name. Any object name you can give, and then every object name you can call obj.getName, obj.getMarks, obj.something, like the same thing for obj.getName, obj.getMarks, o3.getCountryName, getName, like this, right? So there are no restrictions that you can create n number of objects. Always remember, object will hold the class property. What do you mean by class property? Class property means either it can, it will hold your class variables as well as your methods, which are non-static. So object is having allergy with static. That is static, I'll tell you tomorrow. Why main method is static? Okay, so one thing we have seen, main is the default function, and this is the input parameter we are passing. So who will pass this parameter? JVM will pass. JVM is calling main method. And why this is void? Because inside the main method, we never write return statement. You can see any program, okay, any program in Java, if there is a main method, no return statement inside the main method, right? Like this. So Neha is asking, in one method, if there are same references, name, is that accepted? I didn't get you. And only 7 functions can be called, used one object. You can call all the functions, not about only 7. If you have 7 functions, all the functions you can call. If you have 100 functions, 100 functions you can call. Okay. Okay, guys. So I think that's all for today. It's I think too much for today. And with this thing, this our function is created. Now your assignment is, I'll give you one assignment. What we have to do, you have to create 4 functions. Okay, basic arithmetic functions. You have to create one sum function. You have to create one multiplication, division, and subtraction. Okay, and you have to pass some variables over here. Let's say I'm passing, for some function, I'm passing 2 variables, 10, 20, or 30, 40, like this. Same thing for division also, same thing for multiplication also, like this. So multiplication means, let's say I'm passing 10, 20, so it should multiply 10, multiply 20, it should return 200. Same thing for division, same thing for subtraction, same thing for addition. So you have to create 4 functions like this, and then give me some test cases that, okay, what if I'm passing 0, 0? So you should handle that condition also inside the sum. Let's see for division, right? I'm passing 0, 1. So if you write 1 by 0, 1 by 0 should be what? That you have to handle this also. What is 0 by 1? 0 by 1, it should give you 0. So you should handle all these conditions in your function. Okay, so this is your assignment for today. And but keep practicing with all these whatever we have covered today, right? With different, like arrays we have created, array list we have created. Okay, Same thing, you can add more countries name, I mean more city names over here, or get a student name. You can pass, you just pass the student last name. Okay, you can create one more function, that string last name, and you should return the first name of that particular student. Right? So let's say you're creating a library management system or a student management system. So you just pass the last name, it should return what? It should return the first name of the student. Like that also you can create, right? Okay guys, so that's all for today. I'll see you tomorrow. It's already 9:13. Okay, let's have session tomorrow then. I'll send you